Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, episode
200, man.
200. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, joined with
Jamil Damji.
And
Pace Morby.
And we are excited. Everybody watching this and participating, we want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. It has been one of the most fulfilling parts of my professional career. And I'm just so excited that every single week we get to speak with everybody that has all the ingredients. They just need the recipe sometimes, and we're here to deliver that. So thank you, everybody that has joined us for this is our 200th episode. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. We want nothing but massive success for you. And we're just so excited to keep this going.
Dude, looking back at the inception of the entire situation, right? Like I go back and I think about how, Pace and I and yourself were sitting in that one little room at one point, accepting phone calls on a cell phone and like taking a lav mic and putting it to the speaker on the phone and like on the cell phone and just trying to get like the audio so that people could hear. And what was really interesting about that, even though it was super grassroots, there was a need. Mm-hmm. There was a need instantly for people to be able to have their questions answered, for people to be able to come and meet other like-minded individuals doing the same thing that they're doing. And in addition to that, there was a need for people to understand and feel like this is real.
Yeah.
Like this is not just pie in the sky. This is not, some hokey, cryptocurrency pump and dump kind of garbage thing that these guys are talking about. This is a real business model with real opportunity. Real profits are getting made. Real people are being helped. Real families' trajectories are being changed. And because of that, we've been able to do this 200 times. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to you, Brent, and to you, Pace, thank you. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for all of the love. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to do this week after week after week. There is really nothing more in my life that I feel is more rewarding than the opportunity to be involved in people's lives to better them. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful.
Love you.
I love you too.
Love you guys. If you guys remember, the original Wholesale Hotline came from Sunday Service.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my old podcast. I now call it Get Creative. And it was Cody and I in that same little room. And it's so funny because Jamil and I used to travel around the country a lot, and we still do. This year, I didn't slow down. Jamil slowed down a little bit. He went to Canada and hung out, got like, I don't know. What do you guys eat up in Canada? Poutine. Maple bars.
Poutine, like donaires, and eat mores.
What's an eat more?
It's a toffee chocolate bar full of it looks like a rolled up piece. It looks like a flattened piece of poo of somebody who just ate peanuts.
So like a Snickers bar.
No, even worse than that. Like Google eat more bar and look at what it looks like. It literally looks like somebody who just like mowed down on peanuts, had a poo, and then somebody came with a steamroller and flattened it, and then they cut it out into rectangles and packaged it in a yellow wrapper and fed it to Canadians.
I love
And
that.
so it's like eat more poo. But yeah, that's
you ain't lying.
that's one of those things.
You ain't lying.
That looks like peanut shit, right? Can somebody put it on the? Yeah, look, it really looks like peanut poo.
I love it.
Yeah, that's another Canadian staple.
Well, we used to travel, and there was this moment where Cody Barton and I, who we don't do our podcast together anymore. I do real estate, a lot more real estate today outside of Cody than I ever did. And so we ended up separating on the podcast. Cody has his own podcast called That's Not My Job. And
So good.
which is like all about delegating and building your business and scaling and all that kind of stuff, which is great. Really, really needed. And at the time, Cody and I had this podcast called Sunday Service. Why did I call it Sunday Service? Well, because I love Kanye West. And I also was doing it on Sunday afternoon. So what I would do is I went on 1-800 conference call, 1-800-freeconferencecall.com. And I didn't know how to do a podcast 70 months ago.
Yeah.
So what I did is I did a free conference call. And in order to ask me a question, you had to press 6 and wait in line for me to answer questions. Like, all right, who's the next caller? And they would have to say their name. Okay. This is how my podcast started. And then Jamil and I were traveling around the country. We run into Ty the Flipman Taylor, who at the time had like 50,000 subs on YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, bro, you are like royalty to me. Tell me, look at my life and tell me what I'm doing wrong about YouTube. And he goes, well, I can tell you one thing. You should not be doing 1-800-freeconferencecall.com as a podcast. But he didn't tell me what to do, right? He didn't tell me what to do. So I went home and I told Cody, I go, I guess I don't know what to do. We should do Instagram Live as our podcast. So for 6 months, like
That's
an
true.
idiot.
Yeah. God, man.
Okay. 6 months, I did a podcast, which is not a podcast. It's just an Instagram Live that doesn't get recorded anywhere, doesn't get repurposed. It's not a podcast. I did that for half of a year, failing forward, making mistakes. Then Ty the Flip Man came out and visited you, Jamil, and myself. And he goes, hey, let's get on. I want to get on your podcast. I go, oh, easy. We'll just do an Instagram Live. He's like, no, I want to get on your podcast. I'm like, yeah, that's an Instagram Live. Oh my gosh, Pace, you are so dumb. It's this thing called StreamYard. You should just use StreamYard. And then I started using StreamYard. Sunday Service started popping off on our YouTube channel. Jamil was like our 15th episode. But this is after a year and a half of screwing around and doing it the wrong way. And what I was doing is I was taking live calls and just getting people on the thing. And Jamil comes on as a guest, me, Cody, and Jamil. And he leaves going, why doesn't something like this exist for wholesale?
But it was probably closer to like 50,000 people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
You know, look, we get 200. How many downloads a month?
250, 300,000.
Yeah, 250 to 300,000 downloads a month. You know, on Apple and Spotify. We have, you know, thousands of views on YouTube after we even do the live. We typically have anywhere between 600 to 1,000 people join us live for the podcast as we do it. I mean, in all honesty, bro, the number of people that we've been able to help, I think we're all going to undershoot, because there's folks that have even just taken life advice from us, gone off to become better human beings, never done a wholesale deal in their life, but like listened to what we had to say and maybe affected them in their habits. Maybe it affected them in their relationships. Maybe it affected them in a way that was like completely unrelated to wholesaling real estate. But at the end of the day, there is a tremendous amount of value that has been created here. And, you know, I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to do it. And like, there's nobody that I want to do this with other than you two jerk offs.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, listen, it's squat up.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I love you guys.
It's squatting up. That's the heart of this. And I think that you can't track that would be untrackable to see how many different connections are made from just the comments or here live.
Think about it.
Or just people understanding that there's different communities that you don't have to know everything about real estate as long as you know somebody that knows other things that you don't. Right. And for the first time, at least I've seen in our industry, people understand, okay, I can be really good at this thing and build a real business around it. And when I want to expand, I can talk to somebody that already knows that. And I don't have to feel that fear of I can't network with them, or I'm not doing enough business to go up to this person or not. Everybody's this is the meeting spot. You know what I mean?
What's also funny is
the Serengeti. This is where all the animals come together and live in harmony. You know what I mean? We're all drinking.
Wait, it's called the Ngorongoro crater. That's an act. You know what that is? The Ngorongoro crater. You know, a crater. You know what that is? It's this place in Tanzania that is this massive crater,
right?
That where this like meteor hit, God knows however long ago, and it created this big hole in, I think, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And in that hole, there's an ecosystem of animals. It's separated from the rest of the animals in the Serengeti because they can't get into the crater and these guys can't get out of the crater. So the animals living in that crater are like the audience of Wholesale Hotline.
Mm-hmm.
We are aliens. We are in our own ecosystem. We are doing the things that matter to us. And this is where you see lions and zebras actually hanging out, having a conversation. Not so much like, I'm going to eat you, zebra, but like, what are you doing today? Like, hey, you got a hot day with that girl with the stripes? You know, it's like, it's a completely different world than the regular Serengeti because this crater created this ecosystem in the, you know, in Africa, where like all of a sudden these animals just have to exist without all the other pressures of African life or whatever they're dealing with in their situation. But it's like that in wholesale because wholesale is this niche. It's like this crater. It's this crater that happened for all of us where we're all sitting here looking at this incredible opportunity on how to make money, whether it be your wholesaling cash deals, whether you're wholesaling creative deals, whether you are looking at how to wholesale rentals, whatever that is. We are in our direct to agent, we're all in this ecosystem of like of being different, and that's the beauty of what's happening right now.
That's right, and I love it. I love it, and I love your guys' community. I love the Astro community. I love the Subto community. I love meeting and going to places and seeing people wear the hats or wear the genie or wear the Astro rocket, or you know, everybody coming together and really, I don't know. There's a heart to it. You know what I mean? There's a real heart to it. And it's not, you don't find the people that are in each one of those communities trying to like fight each other or stab each other over certain things. It's all, I don't know. It just feels a lot smoother, feels a lot calmer, feels a lot more like
it is a lot smoother. This is why we call the Astro Jet is called the Astro Glider because it is so smooth.
My man, I knew you were going to throw a KY joke at me, and that's all right.
He said smooth. I had to drop it.
You want to know how you want
what's KY?
Okay, so when Pace and I, when you know Astro Flipping, whatever, right?
Yeah.
When he first said Astro Glide to me, I had no idea what he was referring to. You want to know why? Because I don't have as much sex as Pace does, and so when I was in the pharmacy one day. And I saw Astro Glide. It was a lubricant.
That's how you found out?
Bro. And it wasn't long ago. You kept saying Astro Glide. I was like, yeah, Astro Glide, yeah, whatever. I was like, I had no flipping idea what you meant until I was in the pharmacy and I saw it. I was like,
oh my gosh. That's why you never laughed at my joke.
No, because I never got it. I never got it until I saw
it.
But I have to say to you, if I could get tape of the moment I saw it, there right now exists. There exists on a pharmacy's security camera.
I'm crying.
Me losing my mind for a good like 4 minutes, where I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like it was like, "Oh, the scales like dropped from my eyes."
I've been telling that joke for like 2 years, and you never picked up on it.
I didn't get it until I actually like understood what it meant, and I was just like. Was he
laughing at it, Pace? Or was he just like letting it go past?
Every time I said it, he just was like, yeah.
I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I was like pretending I understood what he meant. It was like, you know, one of those inside baseball things. You talk to a guy who like understands basketball or baseball or football, and they're like, and you're like, yeah. And then you just move on to the next thing. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that. He was like, Astro, I was like, yeah. And then on we go. And I was just like, and every time I did it, every time he slid it in, pun intended.
Boom.
I love
Every
that.
time he slid it in, I was just like, I don't know, I'm just
Like,
gonna
why
move
is he
on to the
saying
next thing, and then all of a sudden, like I was like, I had one of these moments where I'm sitting there in a pharmacy, like,
Yeah. Now I feel
Oh,
bad. Now I can't
I
say the
got it.
joke anymore.
But guess what?
It had a nice run.
I just started a lubricant company called Get Creative, and so it's fine.
How about we help out A1? He's got a good question for us. Hey, Jamil, I'm 18 and desperately need some help on moving an on-market property that has a high ARV of 870 that immediately makes me clench. And I need my EMD to be turned in by tomorrow of 6K. Hey, A1, if this is a deal and Jamil has good advice for you, hit me up in the DMs. I'll supply you with the EMD. I'll do a gator
Well,
loan
let's
for
look
you.
at the deal. A1, don't be shy. Write the address in the comments. I'll comp it for you on live, and we'll tell you if there's a deal here at 870 as an ARV. Here's the issue. I want to just tell you right now. Creative gliders, good one. Here's the thing, right? We are moving into a more heated market with respect to the fact that rates are going to start to decrease, not dramatically, but measuredly. Knowing that that's going to happen, like we're going to start getting into an environment with like lower interest rates. That still doesn't mean that you're going to have a dramatic amount of activity at the $870,000 ARV
Well,
mark.
what market?
Well, I mean,
if it's somewhere in California.
Well, if
Miami,
ARV is 870, there's zero chance it's in California because you can't buy a house in Compton right now for under 800
that's
grand.
what I'm saying. This
So
might be a smoky deal.
it's not. Yeah, who knows? Let us know where you're talking about, and we'll see what's up.
All right, cool. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. I've got a question for you boys.
Yep.
With the interest rates potentially going down this year, do you think that things are going to go crazy? Prices are going to go crazy. Fix and flippers are going to start making a ton of money. Yes, please.
I've been like noodling on this for a minute, so I'm happy that you guys are letting me talk. So, here's the risk. Okay, we've had all these people that are rate locked that have not decided to sell because they're in and I don't think the 2-3% people are at risk, but I think the 3-4% people are at risk of looking at a 5% rate and saying, yeah, I'll move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's that risk of all those people that have been pent up wanting to move that have not yet made that decision, that become accidental landlords. And they are now having a whole year of being a landlord, realizing how hard that can be. And so if they get the opportunity to potentially sell their house that's got a 4% mortgage on it, and now rates are like 5.25%, they may decide to like flood the market with those houses. And so that's a risk. Initially, though, I believe that there's so much pent up elasticity in the market that people have been waiting on the sidelines to get a better rate, that for at least the first quarter, as rates start to decline, we're going to see a tremendous amount of uptick in the market, but it's going to level out once we start to get those rate locked people back into the market, giving their inventory back into the market, and all those things are going to start to come into play. And so, this is just a reality of what I think is the, potential of the next little bit.
I saw our friend Lane Peterson post yesterday or today that every 1% the interest rate decreases, 5 million buyers are able to get into the buyer pool.
Wow.
That seems high to me, honestly. It seems high, but then you go, okay, there's 337 million Americans, right?
Yeah.
And if 1% increases the
It's
pool,
basically
the pool
a quarter
increases
of
5.
1%.
Right. So maybe it is, right? I mean,
I think it's possible. I mean, think about this, right? The average amount of transactions in Maricopa County, where we are, is about 10,000 transactions happen on the MLS every single month on kind of an equilibrium market, or a market that has equilibrium.
Yep.
That if you divide out the nation, 50 states, 20,000 people per state as buyers, that's 1 million buyers.
Right.
That means Maricopa County only, not Flagstaff, not Yuma, not Tucson. Maricopa County, that's only 2 months of buyers, right? So I think for sure that's a possibility. 1 million new buyers hit the market just with it actually, if you really think about it that way, that seems low. If we go down from
5 million pace, 5
5
million
million
with
okay,
1%.
Okay, 5 million. That means 100,000. No. What is that? That means, holy crap. That means 200,000 buyers per state.
Right. That
Holy
seems crazy.
That's a lot.
It seems too
No,
high,
I'm sorry. It's 100,000 buyers per state. So it's
mind you, like we're taking stats from a person where I think like we really need to be looking at stats nationally and looking at people that are tracking things.
Well, you look at, I mean, it was less than 5 million sales this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's just the buyer pool increases, not that they're going to make the decision to do it. I think it's
Correct.
an income, like a debt to income ratio type of calculation that they're looking at there. But
they also say that there's a lag, right? So the interest rates lower. There's a lag of people that are in a certain situation, in a lease, in a whatever, that they're not going to buy for 3 to 6 months. And there's a lag time. So you're probably, if interest rates lower, the buyers enter the market. There's a surge that will hit the market immediately, but then there's another secondary surge that will hit the market, 3 to 6 months later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, you find a great deal. You're going to sell your deal. It's just, we saw a significant decrease of like 40% in the amount that we made from 2021 to 2023, right? With the increasing in interest rates, the deals got tighter. We did more deals this year than we ever have.
But your profit margins decreased.
But profit margins got smaller. Yeah.
It's that's it makes sense.
But that's what people need to really understand about real estate is it's not this. Yeah. It's not always this.
No, it's this.
Right.
It's always this. Right. Everything in life is a wave function.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're putting together your plans and when you're putting together these things, remember they say 70% of your income comes in 2 quarters. 70% comes in 2 quarters. So 6 months is 70% of your income. Don't get crazy the other 6 months. Right?
Yeah.
Don't change your complete business model because you're having a tight, couple of weeks or a tight month. Stay on the course. Stay consistent. If you have enough quality conversations with people that have these properties, that have some sort of distress or represent somebody that has some sort of distress, you will win. It just depends. Some years you're going to have to talk to twice as many people to make half as much. You are. I mean,
that's in any business.
Right.
Yep.
So just remember that as an entrepreneur. Remember, you're going to have sleepless nights. Your mind's going to be running all the time because it's not going to just be boom, 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 just closing the same amount of deals every single month.
No.
Couple of things that I really like in the comments. Number one, Shelmick paid us $5, so I gotta earn that $5 right now. What tenant screening service would you recommend? I have currently 2,132 tenants. We use property management companies. We do not do that ourselves anymore. I use a company that's nationwide. The name of the company is Mind Property Management, MYND. They are in all 50 states. I would hit them up. Don't be the person that does your own rental management, just like you shouldn't be the person that's doing your own dental work and your own oil changes. Unless you really like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Here's a good question. Sam Hain says, won't we have higher inflation unless they decrease it quickly, which the Fed said they won't let happen? So a couple of things. We don't know the interest rates are going to come down. We don't know that, right?
No.
However, the Fed told us back in October of this year, they said they're going to raise rates higher, keep them there longer, and they won't lower them for a longer time than originally anticipated. Things change. We now see inflation going down. It's trending downward, actually rapidly. It's pretty effective.
Yep.
And the Fed is doing a great job. Now what they're doing is they just had a meeting. It was about 2 weeks ago. And the meeting was, we anticipate raising rates through 2024 and lowering rates, 2024, 2025, and 2026. They think the Fed rate will go down as low as 2% by 2026. Now, why are they saying it's going to take that long? Is because inflation's coming down, which also means that the economy is starting to slow down, and they don't want to do that. They want to have a soft landing. So the presidential candidates are pushing hard behind the scenes to say, we do not want a bad situation going on when November comes around for election time. So I think they're doing everything they possibly can to create this perfect situation so that Biden can be reelected and say everything in the economy is amazing. We fixed inflation. We did this. And then what will happen is Biden, in my personal opinion, will, if he gets reelected, I think they're going to print a ton more money. I think they're going to do another thing. And I think that inflation is going to tick back up and interest rates will have to be raised again for a temporary period of time. I think interest rates being at 5 and 6% are actually healthy and good.
Agreed.
I don't like them at 7 and 8%, but I like them at 5 and 6%. The burst strategy starts working again. Creative finance doesn't bother me. Left, right, or center, creative finance. I've been doing deals that way for years and years before COVID, before all the craziness happened. We're always going to be successful in wholesale. We're always going to be successful in creative finance, no matter what the market is doing. The things that I think will amplify when rates come down a little bit is the burst strategy people that have been basically sitting on the sidelines, all the bigger pockets people. They're going to come back into the marketplace and say, oh, I can actually buy something now, right? The part-time investors.
Yeah.
And I think the fix and flippers are also going to feel good because they know the market is trending upwards. And so their comps will actually be good by the time they sell their properties, rather than right now you go, my comp is 300, but then when you sell your property, you're selling it at 271, right? Because the market is settling in currently. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I want to just quickly give you some data because, interestingly enough at Keegley, because we get to see how fix and flippers react to the market very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we looked at sold data, not closed data, but sold data for the moment when the Fed announced what they were planning to do versus sold data prior to that.
You're talking like pendings?
Yeah, pendings.
Okay.
Yeah, pendings. Not yeah,
Under
sold.
contract.
Yeah, sold, not closed.
Right.
Pendings. Yeah. Guys, our pendings spiked to the highest level they spiked ever. So we had one of our best weeks of sold wholesale deals as soon as that happened. And like we were all talking about it, like, my goodness, this is the market reacting to the fact that fix and flippers right now are gearing up to get out there, start gaining inventory, start their projects, and hopefully be able to exit out of some good deals in the early part of the first quarter of next year.
Yeah, they're timing the market just like stock investors are timing the market, right?
Yep.
For you and Jamil, if we end up getting a TV show, we're working on obviously a second TV show. That's good news for us, right? Because our fix and flips next year, we know our fix and flips are going to be at least settled, or they're going to go up. And I remember, guys, were you flipping houses at all, Brent, in 2020?
No.
Okay, so I was flipping houses.
I try to avoid that at all costs.
I tried to as well, except for a TV show that Jamil and I have, and that kind of put us in that situation. But 2020 was great. I would buy a deal at like 90 cents on the dollar ARV. And by the time it went to sell, it sold like for 130 cents of what the original, or 130% of what the original ARV was when I bought it.
Right.
Yep.
And I knew it was going to do that. I knew the market was going up and I was timing it. But that took 5 to 7 years of really good experience to get to the point where I could comfortably do that. And then I still got caught holding 5 houses at the end of the deal. Probably did 100 flips during that time frame. 5 of them at the very end, I got caught holding the bag. I had to refinance them and keep them in my portfolio. But the fix and flippers, like you said, Jamil, they're not flipping based on today. They're flipping on, okay, what do I think the market's going to be doing in 6 months? So that goes into sometimes wholesalers like, why won't my deal sell? Well, sometimes your buyers are anticipating their exit strategy being a flip. They're looking at it 6 months down the road, not your ARV today. And I think that's been really challenging for some wholesalers, I'd say in the last 18 months.
Big time. It's like, and they also have to adjust their expectations on price, what they think they can sell for. And they've had to be really skinny over the last little while to make sure that they can still sell the deal and make some profit. So, there's so many factors that come into play when you're talking about, wholesale profit, what you can actually get a deal under contract at, what somebody will actually want to pay for it, what their anticipation of what that's going to look like once they exit the property. And there's all those factors playing into your deal right now. And because we are basically selling futures, don't look, at the end of the day, we are a futures market. Okay. Like they sell pig bellies, like they sell oranges, like they sell all the things that are on the commodities market. Housing is a commodity. It hasn't become something that's traded on the commodities market, but we are trading commodities. And the people who are buying these commodities are looking at the futures, and they're looking at what do those futures look like, and they're making their bets accordingly. That's what we're seeing.
I think it's also the media. I think if the media is like, yeah, interest rates are going down, all these people are buying their first houses for the first time, and they're talking all this great stuff about the market coming back and all these great things. Everybody's like, yes, as a mom and pop fix and flipper, they're like, you know what, let's do this. Let's get back into this. When it's doom and gloom, they're like, oh, I gotta keep some dry powder. I'm not going to get into the fix and flip game. So that again shrinks down your pool of cash buyers that are going to be looking to do a project. So we saw that a little bit in 2020, and then that bounced back real fast. But in 2022, I mean, June 2022, it was like 70% just decided to, you know what? I don't want to look at any wholesale deals because I'm going to sit on the sidelines, see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
Because everybody's that is in that like 40 to 60 age range. Maybe 35 to 60 is like, oh, is this? They feel the echo of 2008. Oh no, this could last for 10 years like it did before or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So, I think part of that also plays into people's ability to jump in and buy these deals. But they're back.
They've been back. They've been like last week and the week prior were pretty insane for us at Keegley. Mm-hmm. From our franchises to our corporate stores, we were looking at the numbers being like, don't get excited, guys. Don't start building projections. Right. Don't get over it. Right. Don't get ahead of yourself. This is not normal. This is a spike in sentiment. Mm-hmm. And because we got to see the spike in sentiment, we understood that, okay, things are definitely shifting, and so it's good. It's good all around. I'm hopeful. I'm very, very measured though. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and remain measured, because again, when we're building businesses, we don't want to get emotional. We want to think about what's real, what's actually going to happen, and what are the factors that could come into play. And at the end of the day, we never know all of the factors that are going to come into play. Look, 2024 could be an amazing year for real estate, but like things like a pandemic happen. Things like wars happen. Mm-hmm. Things like economic and other kinds of distress happen. Mm-hmm. So understand, we don't live in a world that doesn't have black swan events. We have been very clearly shown shit can get random. So be prepared for it.
I think it's going to get more and more random as these hedge funds and these big manipulators at the very top of the food chain figure out how to manipulate the market through news cycles, through elections, through pandemics, through planned events. They plan this stuff, guys. I mean, I'm not a, what do they call them?
Conspiracy theorist.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but these types of things are happening more and more often. It's a fact. So you just have to be ready for the ups and downs and play the long game, right? I didn't get into business to be in business for 6 months. I got into business to be in business for forever. So ride the wave, right? Yeah, you don't go out to surf if you're not prepared to ride the waves.
Amen,
all right,
brother. Amen.
John Carroll says, Jamil, what's the difference between sold and closed? Aren't they the same, bruh?
No, my friend. No, because look, at the end of the day,
he's a really incredible real estate agent. So when you say sold, I'm thinking done, dusted, closed.
Yeah, no, and I happy to explain the differences. So, John, in the wholesale business, we call it sold, meaning we sold a contract. But that doesn't mean closed. Right. What could happen in the process? Well, title issues could derail the deal. The buyer could not close. That could derail the deal. The seller could decide they don't want to sell. That could derail the deal. There could be a number of clouds or other situations that pop up that create some kind of friction or capacity that makes that deal not closed. So we call it sold, meaning we've sold the contract. We're not actively marketing that contract any longer. However, now we have to get it from sold to closed. So as a wholesaler, that's the way that we label things. Maybe as real estate agents, you call that pending. So what I call sold, you probably call pending.
Right. I'll tell you what, though, just to get back to some of this trending and what's going on with the elections, back half, third and fourth quarter of 2016 through 17, phenomenal year for my business. Phenomenal. Back end of 2020 through 2021, bananas, right?
Bananas.
50K average deal. I'm just saying, I think that there's something that goes along with the presidential election.
Oh, yeah.
You say?
That
you don't say?
That everybody gets excited. The media starts hyping certain things. Everybody's starting to feel real good.
I love an election year.
You know what I mean?
Election, you get rich in an election year.
But what I'm saying to everybody, guys, this is the time.
Yeah.
Go absolutely crazy this next year.
Don't only go bananas,
yes.
go bananas.
Go bananas.
That's sources
what we need to do this year?
It's stutter rap.
What sources of information are you guys using to keep up with potential trends and new information? I'll tell you the best way to keep up with trends and new information. If you're going to go fishing, okay, do you go to the local game and fish store and like get the map and the thing and you ask the people there, or do you go to the river and ask the people that are standing in the river actually casting their line? For me, river, man. I want to talk to the person that's in the river, right? They can feel the current, they can feel the temperature, they can see the fish, they can see what they're biting, they can see what things they're working. So it's the same thing with somebody that's actively in the business. I'm collaborating at masterminds. I'm talking to other people that are in different parts of the country that are using different types of marketing. So I'll ask Brent, who uses a lot of PPL. I think it's PPL, or you use PPC?
PPC.
Okay, so Brent uses a lot of PPC, so I'll aggregate information from him. Jamil is direct to agent. My team is direct to seller primarily, or direct to wholesaler. I do a lot of deals with wholesalers with dead leads. So we're all fishermen standing in the river, getting the information directly from feeling the current on our shins, if that makes sense. So everybody else is just guessing at what's going on. So if I were you, I would get in a collaborative spirit with people around you and ask them what's going on. Real estate changes every 90 days, guys.
It does. It really does. And it's honestly the reason why people need to keep tuning into Wholesale Hotline, whether you are, crushing it in your business or just getting started. Understanding the fact that you've got 3 people here that not only look at it from the terms of like, we have a lot of coaching people that we work with that are in the business working. We all have actively running businesses. I've got one of the largest real estate franchises that exist. Pace is doing more deals than Santa Claus. Like, this is the reality. Like, we know, like, the people in there's 13,000, 14,000, God knows how many people in there doing business every day. In Astro, there's thousands of people doing business every day. In the TTP tribe, there's thousands of people doing business every day. We get to hear it real time. And because we get to hear it real time, we get to give real time advice. And so my opinion is like, you want to look at Redfin, you want to look at the Cromford report, you want to look at whatever realtor.com has to say to you. What about the guys that are in escrow now? That to me is what's going to help you understand what's going to happen tomorrow. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, talk to your buyers.
Yeah.
Talk to your buyers are going to tell you everything.
Because they're going to either write the check or not.
Your buyers are going to tell you everything that you need to know when it comes to that side of the business. And if you're actually having quality conversations with property owners, which is the business, that is the whole business. At some point, having I don't care if it's a text conversation for all the people that don't want to get on the phone, or you're actually having a conversation, you're meeting people face to face. If you talk to 1,000 property owners right now, this month, or in the next 90 days, you're going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the mind of property owners in your market. And then you also talk to the cash buyers. You just blend the two. What are they looking for now in this market? Great. I'm going to go target that, and I'm going to go talk to those property owners.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I have Chris Jean-Baptiste out of Brooklyn on the screen. Great leader inside of Sub2. This dude is doing like
awesome
presses, 100 pounders the other day. I was just cranking them, dude. And I did a New Jersey and New York virtual education seminar for somebody else, right? This happens to all 3 of us, right? People call us, hey, will you present for my group? And I probably do 7 or 8 of these a month. 7 or 8 of these a week. It takes up a lot of my time. But the number one thing that people love that I give them at the end, right? There's a room of 50. I'm on Zoom talking to these 50 people, and they're all in a physical room. The thing they love is they think, oh my gosh, I love all this creative finance stuff, and this is amazing, and Pace is doing all these deals. This is great. But at the end of the day, the number one thing that they loved when I gave it to them was Chris Jean-Baptiste's phone number. Why? Because homeboy's standing in the river catching fish. He's feeling the current. And when you know you have somebody boots on the ground in your local market, it gives you so much confidence. So go have those conversations. Go talk to the fishermen, right? Chris Jean-Baptiste is one of those fishermen. In fact, if you are a fisherman, make it be known in the stream on the side chat. Let people know, hey, I'm a fisherman. I'm marketing. I'm doing the calls. Talk to me. I know what the heck is going on. Okay. Can't wait to meet that baby boy Morby. Yes, that is happening.
My goodness. Tomorrow. Have you guys decided a name yet, bro? Like, what's up?
Jamil Brent Morby.
Yes.
I thought so, but he'd never said to me that he's going to name his kid Jamil, so it's fine. I get
Jamillionaire. I'm naming my son Jamillionaire.
Jamillionaire.
Okay.
I want to talk. Can I talk to you guys just for like 2 minutes about this really cool thing? It's amazing to me. The number one list for us in the last year and a half has been expired listings. Not because expired listings have not been a good thing. It's just, I don't know, right? There's just agents are getting fired primarily right now because equity, sellers want too much money. Sellers are still kind of married to the thought process of 2 years ago. My house is worth 2021, 22 prices. So I meet this student of mine. His name's Andrew McGuire. Andrew McGuire, 2 years being an agent, 4 months ago, has nothing in his pipeline. He literally went from being an agent to looking for a job. He's Googling, I want to get a job. Where should I go? I need to figure this out. My family needs Christmas, and I have nothing in the pipeline. Oh my gosh. Like, pump the brakes. Holy crap, what is going on type of thing. Yep. Finds the subto community, goes in and watches. Now he's an agent. They call expired listings. Yep. He was calling expired listings before. Comes into the subto community, watches my calls on expired listings, watches Laura's calls on expired listings, immediately converts his expired listing calls. By the way, Brent, I have a question to ask you. I'm leading up to. Okay. Yep. So he starts making calls 2 hours a day. He's now made calls for 40 days. He has not only got under contract, he has closed 5 subto deals only from expired listings in Maricopa County and has made and closed $61,000 in assignment fees.
Yeah, bro. Okay.
Only expired listings. Now, here's a couple of revelations for you knuckleheads out there. He said, I go, Andrew, I bet you nobody was calling those expired listings. Am I right? And he goes, you're right. These sellers are not only saying this seems too good to be true, this is amazing, but you're also the only one that has pitched me creative finance. It boggles my mind that is the case, but that is the case. In Maricopa County, there are 40 new expired listings on average every single day. So I'm sitting there thinking about, how much time somebody needs to put into actually TTPing on a daily basis. Okay. And I thought, I wonder if I did a bet. And this is a crazy bet. So Brent, here's my question to you. Jamil, same question goes to you. If somebody came to you and said, I will bet you I cannot do a deal with your method, and I will give you $10,000 if you prove me wrong. You have 30 days. I'll do exactly what you tell me to do for 30 days. I'll tell you, I'll do it for the amount of time on the days. I'll do the list. I'll do exactly what you tell me to do. And if in 30 days, and I'm actually going to try and do a deal. I'm not going to try and, it's a win-win for them, right? If they're proven right, they get 10 grand from you.
Yep.
If they're proven wrong, they get a deal and they'll make more than 10 grand. Mm-hmm. So my question to you, if you had to give somebody a game plan for 30 days, otherwise, and they had to get a deal, otherwise you lost $10,000, what would that game plan be? How much time would they have to spend? What list would they call in? And by the way, all of our answers are going to be completely different.
Of course. Look, I want to say to you, first and foremost, I had this exact situation, but not a bet. It was a threat. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even know that Michelle Garabito, one of my stars in the Astro Flipping community, said to one of the people that she was on the phone with when she was signing up for Astro, said to that person, I'm going to do exactly what Jamil says for the next 30 days. if I don't figure this out and make money, I'm going to sue the pants out of all of you guys. I'm going to come after you. I'm going to come after him. I'm going to report you to the FTC. And like, had I heard that sales call, I would have said, please don't sign her up. Please don't sign her up. But they did.
And she did.
And she did. She came in and she crushed it. Not only did she crush it, but she's like running a business right now where she's making nearly $100,000 a month. Month after month, she lives like, virtually. She's like in Spain today. God knows where she'll be tomorrow. And so she absolutely made it happen. Now, the strategy, right? The strategy, it's going to change market to market, situation to situation. My opinion right now, just as you just said, Pace, expired listings are doing really well for you. Why? Because the market's shifting. So listings are expiring, meaning that there's dissatisfaction in the market. I want to have people go after that before they become expired. So what I'm explaining to the people that I'm working with to do is look at anything that's like 90, 120, just under 180 days on market and catch that listing before it leaves the purview of the agent, because the agent can do something for us that the seller will never understand. And that's explain the market. The agent can actually explain to the seller what's happening in the market right now. Look, we tried for you. We tried to get you $500K for your house. It didn't work. We put it out to everybody. Everybody saw it. People walked it. It just didn't meet the criteria for what that price was going to command. Now, we do have a person who's interested in buying this. It's a cash offer. Your house is pretty original. This might be the best thing that we have. And so pre-expired listings, in my opinion right now, give us the best opportunity for not only motivation, but also price acceptance, because we have an advocate. We have an advocate in the real estate agent that's going to be able to explain the market to the person who's making that decision prior to them becoming free agents. At the end of the day, if you look at free agency and what people are like, right? When they're, I got to put a lid on this fucking thing.
Put a lid on that thing.
When people are free, my hands are all over when you're a free agent, when you're just doing whatever you want to do, and you don't have a professional advising you, that's problematic. And in the world of real estate, you need to have an advocate that's going to take care of you and understand what's going on. Real estate agents can give that information to their clients. So I want to catch it right before the expired, but that's just one of my techniques.
Who do you sell it to?
What do you mean?
Give it the flip side. Who's the buyer for these?
Well, the buyer
got to get it closed.
Yeah, of course. So the buyer is always going to look for opportunity, right? So first and foremost, when you're looking at a deal that gets sent to you that is listed on the MLS, it's listed at $500,000. Let's just say that. But it's sent to you at $370,000 as a wholesale price. As a buyer, you're going to be intrigued. You're going to look at it. You're going to say, wow, it was listed at 500. I have it sent to me at 370. Is there a deal here or not? Now they're going to start underwriting the deal. Now they're going to start paying attention to the deal because they see that price gap. So it's really important to have that price gap available because you give the impression of value to your buyer. Now they are actually underwriting the deal with real underwriting characteristics, with real underwriting principles that are important for people to make the decision on whether or not they want to buy the deal.
Glenn, what's your favorite list right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
It's got a title landlords. Actually, no. High equity primary owners.
High equity primary owners. People that have owned their property for a long time. They're older properties built before 1993, right? 30 years. They are 2,000 square feet or less. They're under the median sale price for estimated value. And
are we calling sellers directly or agents?
Sellers. Calling directly to sellers. Yep.
You and I agree on the direct to seller. Are you partial?
But I like the idea, Pace, of going on to Zillow or Redfin and doing the search specific terms, right? And putting fix up, put TLC, put fixer upper into the search, and then just searching wherever, go anywhere. You could virtually wholesale anywhere and start making some calls with people that have those either listed, or I would probably do the for sale by owners first and go through those and just call them up, see if they have offers on them, and start negotiating from there. Right. And those are people that, if you have a really, really, really tight timeline and you really have to get this done in 30 days, you got to find people that have already made the decision that they're going to sell. Typically with the owner-occupieds or tired landlords or driving for dollars list or whatever, they take longer. They take about 90 days to get done. So I would just go on to Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com. I would do the special terms, fix up, TLC, whatever. I would call them up. I would start negotiating. I would go 60 if the estimated value on Zillow is above 250, I would go 60% of that price. If it's between 250 and 100, I'd go 35%. And if it's below 100,000, I'd go 10%. And that's what I would say. I would say, hey, listen, I'm calling because I'm looking to buy a home in the area. It looks like your neighbors in similar conditions, similar size, are selling for around this price, 60, 35, 10. And then you start making offers on that all day long. You call everybody that says investors.
Okay, but you're not being literal about all day long. What is my time? If I'm I'm a stay-at-home mom, or I got a 9-to-5 job, what's the minimum amount of time I have to spend?
You can find 20 hours a week for this business.
Yeah, 2 hours a day, bro. 2 hours a day. Like, you can really do business at 2 hours a day.
I tell people, if you call expired listings for 2 hours every day for 30 days, I'm including Saturday and Sunday, because your sellers sometimes are also at their job Monday through Friday. So you'll get some trickle through on Saturday and Sunday. 2 hours a day. It's impossible for you to not get a deal, especially with creative finance. It's impossible for you not to get a seller finance or subto deal that you can wholesale, make 15 grand on. Impossible for you, even if you are just starting out and you have to fumble through your first conversation. What I've been doing in my community the last couple of weeks is I've been pairing people up on teams, and I've been putting the leaders that have been in the community, I call them the alumni. I put the alumni up at the top. I feed the newer community underneath them to do the calls, to set the appointments. So they're calling expired listings, they're calling foreclosure, they're calling whatever. The average amount of time a newbie has to spend to just set appointments for somebody that's a little bit more experienced so they can watch and see is about 20 minutes a day. Like, literally, all you have to do is spend 20 minutes a day to tee up an opportunity, build some momentum, do whatever. Now, if you're like, I have to do a deal myself, this is what I would be doing. I love both those answers. They're great answers. I would do expired listings, get those from an agent. I would skip trace them, call for 2 hours a day. There's only 30 or 40 new leads every day in our county alone.
Correct.
So it's not like you're going to be calling hundreds of people. You're calling 30 people. You'll talk to 6 or 7 of them. They'll all be 15-minute conversations. You'll set them up for an appointment for somebody who's more experienced than you, so you don't have to worry about all the sales conversations and all the things. You guys have a JV agreement together. You'll probably do 2-3 deals in a month. The problem is when you ask people, when was the last time you did anything in your life for 30 days in a row? The answer is, I've never done that. I've never done anything for 30 days in a row.
Yeah, well, discipline takes you places motivation can't.
Correct.
People are just too motivated. They're always motivated. Everybody's motivated. They watch this, they get motivated. They read a book, they get motivated. They watch an Instagram story, they get motivated. Discipline is where it's at.
Yeah.
This is the hard grinding, calling, like really growing as a real estate entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur itself. You got to be in the dirt. You got to put in the work. You got to have uncomfortable conversations. You need to get rejected time and time and time again. And then you got to keep doing it, and you got to have thick skin, and you have to understand that you're there to serve the 1 or 2 people that you talk to that day that'll actually listen to you and do business with you. That's it. But we all get defeated. The reason we get defeated is because you're trying to do it by yourself in your living room, in a dark room with all the blinds closed, and you're trying to get yourself all hyped up to do the work, and it's not going to happen. Get around people that are doing this right now. Today, Empty the Clip Challenge, the TTPers call 100 new people, talk to 100 new people today. 100. And they all get deals. It's incredible. It's like magic what happens.
It's not magic. It's math.
All right.
It's
but,
not.
But I mean, it's like,
but
what?
It's not magic, guys.
Right.
It's math. And that's the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's math with creative finance. It's math with wholesale, cash offers. It's always math. Your inputs are going to give you your outputs. If you are unwilling to put yourself in a situation where you are actually doing that work, please stop expecting results that should not be yours to
You
have?
can't receive unless you give.
You can't. You cannot.
That's
You
the
cannot
cycle.
get anything that you haven't put work into receiving.
Brent, have you read the 38 letters that J.D. Rockefeller wrote to his son?
I haven't.
It
good?
is
I have not either.
every problem that you have ever interfaced with your new students, right? The people that are, because the majority of the newer students that are coming into your community, their problem is mindset. It's not even about like the education or the information.
Right.
It's the mindset. It's the excuse. It's the this, it's the that. This guy has 38 of the number one excuses and problems that people that can't get started in business, writes a dedicated letter to his son. This was the richest man on earth. Adjusted for inflation, this guy was worth $450 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. Adjusted for inflation. He was the only one of the very few families that actually his wealth is actually outlasted, which is amazing because he set up his corporate structure properly and all that kind of stuff. There are some amazing things in here. Here's a really good one. It's one of my favorite ones. He says, number 13. Okay. The opening line is, if you want to make a person disabled, just give them a pair of crutches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does he mean by that? He means
Enable them. Enable them.
Couple of things, right? You give people their 9-to-5 job to cover just enough bills. Now they've got crutches.
Yep.
And now they're just disabled. So now all the extra time they have the rest of the day, it's like, wait, hold on. Somebody's not telling me what to do. They're not walking me through it. They're not this. It's not a job description. I don't, well, nobody's holding me accountable and I don't get a paycheck for it. So I'm just not going to do it. Guys, your job, you should keep it. I'm not saying quit your job. Keep your job. Okay. Your job should be a superpower, but most of you guys, your job is your crutch. And it also ultimately disables you and you're comfortable. You're in this situation. You should make excuses. Okay. That's actually number 22. He says, excuses are the source of all failure. And unbelievable. These are like 4-page letters to his son and they're private. He never thought these were ever going to be out in public information. So it's unbelievable. I do see a lot of people that just go, I'm going to do it for an hour, for 45 minutes. And I just don't know what to tell those people. It's like, what have you ever done in your life that was worthwhile, that only required 2 hours of your time and then you gave up? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything?
I mean, some people go live on TikTok, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, some people make a baby in 15 minutes.
Well, somebody did that. You know, somebody gave some ingredients. Now, I'm excited about the changes in the market. I think one thing that I'm going to be focusing on a lot more in 2024 is small multifamily. So Ingrid says, is anyone calling on multifamily?
Yes.
Ingrid, there are 3 different types of multifamily. There's
Yes.
microfamily, small multifamily, and then the multifamily that Grant Cardone does, which is 150 unit or larger.
Right.
We are not calling multifamily on 150 units or larger. Typically,
No.
you're calling brokers. Okay. And those brokers own those deals. It's a very different world. Ingrid already knows this. She's a great leader in our community. She's amazing. So I'm just using Ingrid's question to answer everybody else. Small multifamily, 4 to 12 units. Amazing. Do you know how many expired listings go on the Maricopa County expired listings list that are 4 to 6 units every day? 2. So there's 2 opportunities of expired listings. I just bought one, 4-plex, sub 2.9%, 4,300 in existing rents already. My sub 2 payment that I took over is $3,100. You want deals that are small multifamily? Expired listings, a great place to go. All right. You want medium-sized multifamily, Ingrid? Go to PropStream or go to Privy and find people that have owned the properties, these multifamily properties, for over 15 years, have not changed ownership, and you're calling the sellers directly. You're not calling agents. Okay. And you're going to get deals. You're going to get seller finance deals, et cetera. Ingrid, inside of the sub 2 fund, Ryan, one of my acquisition managers, will be making live seller calls for the sub 2 fund partners. So if you are in the sub 2 fund, you'll be able to hear those calls directly. He'll be calling sellers directly and brokers directly, depending on the size of the units. People say burn the boats. What are you guys' feeling? I disagree with this. I think most people, in fact, Ingrid, who makes more money in her real estate business than she does in her regular day-to-day job, when she told me I'm going to quit my job, I told her, don't do that.
Depends on the kind of person you are, honestly.
Agreed. 100%.
It totally depends on the kind of person you are. If you're the kind of person that like rises to the occasion under pressure, and you know that you need to burn the boats in order for you to like actually move on to the next one, then you know what you got to do. Burn the boats. If you're the kind of person that doesn't thrive under pressure, if you're the kind of person that you will always go back to like what's comfortable, like you're just not okay if you don't know where the next check is coming from. You don't know where you're going to be able to handle this responsibility or that responsibility from, and you can't deal with that kind of like ambiguity, then burning the boats is burning yourself down, because you are going to give yourself so much cortisol, so much stress dealing with just being able to maintain day-to-day life that it's not going to be conducive to you doing an actual good job at what you're trying to accomplish here. So know who you are, be self-aware. Like, I think before anything else, entrepreneurs need to be very real with themselves. Take a self-assessment. Understand your personality type. Know who you are. Are you a person of comfort? Are you a person who thrives under pressure? Are you a person who gets stuff done when you have an opportunity in front of you and like you seize it? Or are you the person who waits to the last day, and then because you're on the last day, you figure it out? None of it's wrong. It's just different. So know who you are and act accordingly.
My number one, if you guys go to get a Griffith Strengths test, or I'm sorry, Clifton Strengths, okay? Clifton Strengths test. I feel like it's the best personality test you can do. Clifton Strengths. There's 34 personality types, and they basically rate you 1 through 34. So the one at the bottom is obviously your
What about
weakest.
Bobby, who's like has 34 personalities? Like, what do you do when you're that guy?
You have to take 34 tests.
Oh, okay.
And you have to time them appropriate. I think Bobby has more like 30, not 34. But my number one personality attribute is implementer, which means the second I learn of something, I implement it immediately. I cannot help but implement.
Yep.
I'm addicted to it. My number one thing I hear from people all the time is like, dude, you just heard about that. Now you're already talking about it. You're already doing it. You've already bought the deal. You've already closed. Oh my gosh, bro, you are immediate. I am allergic to office work. I'm allergic to being in an office environment. I have 2 offices. Jamil's similar to me. Jamil, when I see him in the office, he's in there and he'll hug people like me. I'll hug people. I went there today for 40 minutes. I gave people fist bumps. Hey, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. All right. Love you. Bye. See ya. And I'm out. I cannot be in that environment. I know my personality. I would fail in that environment. However, I have other people that work on my team that go, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this job because I don't have the creator mind like you or the implementer mind. I need somebody to tell me what to do. Guys, those are the weekend investors, the people that are doing the deals on the side. And it is okay to do deals on the side. Like, you have to understand your personality. So burning the boats is never a suggestion I will make unless I know your personality. So go get a Clifton Strengths test and you'll learn a lot about yourself.
I think it also just, some people say that and it just means that they're going to be committed. And I can applaud that. Right. I love the Alex Hormozi commitment little saying. It's the removal of alternatives, which I think is important. I think it's important to focus. I think it's important to figure out what you want to go after and what your goal is, and focus on something and stay with it until you achieve that. I think it does a lot for your confidence. And I think confidence is one of those things that is really fundamental when it comes to being an entrepreneur. I really do, because I think self-doubt it just deteriorates your productivity, because you think that you just can't do it once you fail a little bit. But failing is the whole thing. Failing and taking massive imperfect action every single day is important, and that builds the confidence. So if you're saying be committed and you're saying be focused, absolutely. If you're saying, quit everything and get rid of, not think about your family and responsibilities and all that, that's not the right. That's not the right.
That's not the vibe. Now, here's Adam Heisler says, Pace, what's the difference between needing to implement immediately and having shiny objects and getting lost in shiny objects? Let me tell you something.
Discernment.
Discernment, yes.
Yeah.
But you also have to take advice from people that are similar to you or people that you want to be like. So I'll give you a good example. A friend of ours, Tom Kroll. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of transparency here. Tom Kroll has been my hero, still is one of my heroes. I love the guy. He has attributes that I don't have that I look up to, and I try and borrow from his energy to improve myself. However, at one point in my life, I thought Tom Kroll was like the end all be all goal, right? When I was first starting. Tom Kroll.
Well, you tried to sign with him. I mean, like there was a
Yeah.
time when you might have done business with the guy.
4 years ago, I might have done business with him. And I really like Tom. He's improved my life in so many different ways. In fact, my bookkeeper today is the bookkeeper he introduced to me. Her and I went off and started a business together. We have 400 clients together. Like Tom Kroll has created a domino effect of massive positivity in my life.
Right.
I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for Tom Kroll, truly. Right. Even this podcast was started like around the time where I met Tom Kroll. Right. So a lot of things have changed because of him. So what I'm about to say is not a negative. It's just that you have to understand who you're listening to. Tom Kroll says to me one day, he says, you know what, Pace, you know what your big problem is? You do too much. He says, you should only have one thing, maybe two things. And that really hit me. Because I'm listening to a guy that I look up to. He's an idol of mine, still is to this day. But why is he an idol of mine? Is it because I want every part of my life to be like every part of his life? No. There was just a couple things I loved about Tom. But when I was newer and I didn't give myself permission to say, oh, I only need that from Tom and that from Tom, and I'll give these things from myself to Tom and we can collaborate from the energy exchange. I listened to what he said, and for 2 weeks, I was trying to figure out how do I get rid of things. And then another mentor of mine, who's a billionaire, came to me and was like, hey, man, how's it going? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And I tell him what's going on. I go, I'm trying to simplify my life. And he says, do you want to be the guy that is the Elon Musk of the world, or do you want to be the guy that's playing it small? Play small, keep it all. Is basically, you want to play small, keep it all, or do you want to go big? And I go, I want to be that guy. He goes, then don't listen to the guy that has one or two things going on. You have to know yourself. And that's the better question to ask, Abraham, is how do I get to know myself? How do I go on a journey of self-discovery? Because you guys will also see posts on social media. Ryan Pineda will go fix and flip. Grant Cardone says, go do multifamily. Robert Kiyosaki says, hate everybody and communism is a thing. I don't know. What you hear all of these people and none of them are wrong.
You forgot him peppering in a nice ass a little every once in a while too.
None of them are wrong. You just have to figure out which one of them do you want to listen to based on your own personality. And I think one of the biggest challenges that people have is the discernment of who am I and how does this resonate with me? Guys, I do want business partners. Brent doesn't. So when he says don't have business partners, if that's your lane, follow him. If you're like, I want to go so big that it could topple down, but I had 1,000 employees and I was employing 1,000 people and I did everything and I died of a heart attack, then follow me, because that's basically what I'm doing. Know yourself. I love every bit of my life. I could not live my life like Tom Kroll. When I now look at him, no offense to Tom, but he takes a nap at 2:00 in the afternoon every day and he brags about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what a guy.
So that's what's special about Tom. And there are other people that I hang out with and I collaborate. I'll go play golf with and whatever.
I have no idea.
And they'll say to me, they go, dude, I want to work from 10:00 in the morning till 2:00 in the afternoon. I don't want anybody to know who I am. I don't want any employees. I want to buy a rental. Eddie. In fact, I have a buddy that's name is Eddie. He's on the golf with his steady Eddie. Who do you want to be? What appeals to you? I don't want to do one thing. I want to do 10 things. I want to have teams and partners, and I want to explore that world to the furthest degree. I want most of the stuff Alex Hormozi says to you guys, just FYI, he's a personal friend of ours. I text Alex frequently. Most of it doesn't pertain to the person that plays small. 99% of what he says does not pertain to the person that plays small. It doesn't apply. It sounds cool, but it doesn't apply to the people playing small. The people playing small typically are the Dave Ramseyites, and there's no shortage of people listening to that guy. So who's right and who's wrong? Dave Ramsey is right. Alex Hormozi is right. Grant Cardone is right, as long as you know who to listen to.
Yeah, and that's a reflection of who you are.
Right.
1,000,000%. So, do a radical self-assessment. And honestly, at the beginning of every year, right? Let's think about it. Why is it important to self-assess before the end of the year and then understand what's happening into the next? Well, at the end of the day, guys, your patterns got you here. Your patterns, whatever your patterns are, how you live, how you eat, how you work, your behaviors, all the patterns of your day-to-day existence, the subconscious programs that like drive your day-to-day life got you to this spot right now. Now, if this spot right now is no longer acceptable to you, either on a financial basis, a relationship basis, or both, if it's no longer accepted to you, then guess what? What you're doing or what you've done all year has to change in order for you to be a different guy or a different lady next year. So you have to have a pattern interrupt. You've got to change who you are. You've got to change aspects of you. And that's what I think is really important about the self-assessment aspect of this all, is because if you don't know who the heck you are right now, how are you going to have an idea of who you want to be and what it's going to take in order to get there?
How about getting a $53,250 wire into your account right now? What happens to your brain?
Everything
what happens
changes.
to your thoughts?
Everything changes.
Right?
Everything.
It breaks your brain. If you've never had more than 10,000 in your account and all of a sudden you have 300,000 in your account after a year, things change. But I think a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to go follow this person, but they don't take any action. I'm going to go follow this person. I'm not going to be. You're just a voyeur. You're just a creep looking through the window at somebody. That's all this is a window. This is it. You're just being a creep until you go and you take that stuff and you actually go take action. Right?
Oh, I had so many visuals right now. I don't even want to talk
that's
about
the absolute truth. So stop being a voyeur. If you're going to follow somebody, but they better be giving you instruction. And if they instruct, and our instruction here is to squat up, one, two, go find somebody that has some motivation with their property and go talk to them and start building something up, and then figure out who you want to be, figure out what's going on. But don't do this whole like in your own head, sitting there and just not doing anything, watching other people go conquer. Like everybody here has the ingredients. Go find the recipe that you want to bake. That's it. You've got it. Don't just sit on the
ironic
sideline.
that you're saying baking, and this guy's question or statement is it's A Baker 76. So he says, I need Dave Ramsey right now because I'm bad with money. Okay, great. I love that you say that.
But that's a label he has.
Yes, it's a label. And you've also never experienced $50,000 dropping in your bank account by solving a seller's problem. Because the second that happens, there's connections and nerves that are in your brain that have never connected until that 50 grand hits that checking account. I look at everybody that's wealthy. Okay. Not people that are making 200 grand a year, not people that are making 300 grand a year, people that are making real significant money.
What is that, Pace? Tell them what that is.
Top earners make 500,000 plus a year, 1%. The 1% of the 1% make $3.5 million a year. Okay. Everybody on this screen makes over that. I can tell you
they're
that
making
right
like $500,000 a month.
Yeah. $500,000 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. 200 to 500K a month.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You don't have a problem. You're not bad with money. You might be just bad at making money, because here's what happens. The second you make money, you don't need Dave Ramsey. Okay. Dave Ramsey helps you be a clam in a shell, right? And then you're trying to save yourself to wealth. Guys, you're just wasting your freaking life. Learn skills, resources, gain relationships. Everything changes. $50,000 hitting your bank account, like Brent Daniels says, you might as well just change your name, because you just became a different person.
For real.
You can't even recognize yourself. In fact, there's a lot of people in the side chat. If you have gotten that big wire and you don't even recognize who you are 3 months later, say something in the comments for my friend, the Baker 76.
You're one conversation away from it. Everybody is one conversation away from speaking with a property owner that you can solve a $50,000 problem. That's an absolute fact. From speaking to a real estate agent, or speaking to like the big boy one that you did, the big piece of land that people didn't see. It was a house. They didn't see the value in the land, but you did, and you went and sold it. What'd you make on that?
110,000.
110,000.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2016.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you balling out then?
No, dude. Actually, earlier that year, it was the first year in business that I was really back at wholesaling when I moved to Phoenix. And, I'll never forget it because my wife ended up getting a really bad, she caught a bad virus, like a bad bacteria, and it was a super bug.
Mm-hmm.
And called C. diff. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but it's terrible. And so, dealing with that situation is really hard. And the medication to get out of that cost $6,000.
Yep.
And I remember not having the $6,000. I remember not having the $6K to being able to pay for the prescription. And I remember
And
how
not having the credit card to put.
no,
it
I
on
had
and
no
not
credit
having any
card.
of
I had
that.
no credit card to pay for it. I had no situation to pay for it. I remember sitting at my kitchen table on a Sunday afternoon, and my wife was literally like, we used to be like, I call it bed on the floor poor,
Mhm.
right? There was
No box spring.
there was no box spring. There was no,
Yeah.
there was no, it was bed on the floor poor, right? We were bed on the floor poor. And she was in the room shivering because she was losing so much liquid and like just couldn't make it.
Mhm.
And we didn't have a solution other than this $6,000 prescription that was necessary for us to buy. And I remember the feeling that I had that weekend, and when I was sitting on the phone and I was calling the agents and I was looking for opportunities, and then I finally got something under contract. And I remember when I got it under contract, and then I started looking for a buyer, and I called Chris Simon, who ended up being the buyer for that deal. And I called him, and he went and looked at the deal, and he said, I like it. And we had negotiated a $10,000 assignment fee. And I called him up and I said, look, I know you don't know me, and I don't know you well. I've watched you. I know who you are, but you don't know me. Here's my situation right now. I need $6,000 Monday, and I can't wait till this closes in 2 weeks because this is what's happening in my life right now. So what if I do this? What if I take that $10,000 assignment fee that I'm supposed to get from you, and I make it $6,000, but you pay it to me cash and you give it to me tomorrow? Take a risk on me.
Mhm.
It'll be worth it. And he had
That was the best risk he ever took, bro.
it was, bro. It
Because
was the
I know
best
how
risk.
many deals you and Iman have probably done 400 deals together.
Yeah. And we continue to still do deals. But had he not given that opportunity to me to be able to literally save that situation that I was in that moment, to be able to help her, I wouldn't have been able to succeed. I wouldn't have been able to move forward because I was in such distress about what was going on in my life with her. And so being able to overcome that and knowing that it took creativity, it took opportunity, it took grit, it took calling, it took sitting there at the table, bed on the floor poor to get it done. I got it done.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. Couple things. T Hope says, funny enough, I had a convo with Tom at a conference. He told me to focus on one thing. Guess what? Tom's not wrong.
Mm-mm.
You just have to understand if Tom is the person you should be listening to for your personality. Here's another thing, right? Pedro Cardona. Last time I saw Pedro, Jerry Norton and I are hanging out in a hotel. And I hadn't eaten all day. I'm ordering, Jamil, I'll do this when you and I are hanging out. I'll order like 4
Everything.
things, and I'll eat like 25% of each thing, just because I'm like, I'm here at this great restaurant. I want to eat.
That's rich people stuff, bro.
Right.
You're just like, I want to bite of that. I want to
little
bite of
tasty
that. I want to
taste.
bite of that. I
Oh,
want to bite of
Especially
that.
just
my
gotta
wife and
have
kids
one
aren't with me.
spoonful of this.
I'm like, I can afford this, but the wife and kids are not with me. I can spend $100 on dinner. This is easy. So I'm ordering, and Jerry's like, dude, what's up with you? I'm like, bro, just let me live my life. I'm asking the waitress, hey, where's our bill? She says, oh, it was paid for already by a different party.
You had to pay for your shenanigans there,
Yeah,
dude. That's so good.
He had this
Oh,
guy.
sorry,
This guy had
Pedro.
no idea that I'm over there ordering like 7 items. Okay. And guess who it was? It was Pedro Cardona right there. He had his beautiful wife and kids. They were at my mastermind. Jerry and I were in the hotel lobby eating some food and kind of snuck away for a little bit while somebody else was on the stage, regain my energy, etc. Pedro drops a couple $100 on my lunch, doesn't even ask any questions, asked the waitress not to tell us who it was. We figure out who it was, And I'll tell you why that guy, number one, he's generous. He's a loving, kind human being. But here's the other reason why he has no problem dropping a couple $100 on somebody in a restaurant is because he made $190,000.
Come on, player.
Okay. Congratulations, Pedro. He says, I have $100,000 in one of my accounts from a subto I flipped last week. Guys, when Brent tells you a $50,000 wholesale deal will change your life, he is not exaggerating at all. It changes every single thing in your life. In fact, have you guys ever had these moments in your life where you felt a little bit distraught, maybe stagnant? Maybe it's not even distraught. Maybe you're just stagnant. You feel stagnant. And one little thing gives you a little bit of momentum, a little bit of hope, and all of the sudden the universe is correct and right.
Bro,
and everything.
It was a $6,000 wholesale deal that did it for me. That day, brother, changed my life because I met Chris Simon. And then Chris Simon and I ended up doing, hundreds of deals together in the future. And that obviously changed the trajectory of my life. And then after that, it led to Keegley. And then after that, I get to meet you guys. And then after that, we're here. I mean, bro, it doesn't take $50,000. It doesn't take $10,000 or $100,000. It's whatever moves the needle and changes your life in the moment you're in right now. Sometimes you just need to be able to pay rent. Sometimes you just got to get something done so that you can make the basic necessities be taken care of. And that is going to give you a paradigm shift that's going to take you on a trajectory that's going to change you. At the end of the day, it's not the dollar amount. It's what did it do to you?
Yeah.
What did it do to you? And that day changed me because I remember looking at her. Bro, I remember looking at her on that bed. I can see it with as clear as day. I remember her sitting there and thinking, before I got on the phone that day, she's going to die. And then I remember after I sold that deal and he agreed to pay me that $6,000, that I knew we had hope. And that day, bro, it was like, I don't know how many hours, but that day changed me, man. It changed me because I realized that I could do anything I wanted to do in a very short amount of time. All I had to do was sit the F down and do it.
I got something maybe we could do for next week's episode. Thanks for sharing that, Jamil. I've met a lot of people because of you, Jamil. You've changed my life tremendously. I have a Rolex watch sitting underneath my Christmas tree, I think, because of you right now. Somebody gifted me a Rolex watch who you connected me with, and I ended up making that person so much money. They gifted me a watch. They asked me like 5 months ago, hey, do you like Rolex watches? Like, yeah, those are cool.
What kind of Rolex is it?
I think I haven't seen it because I haven't opened it up yet. I was like, oh, cool. This is nice. Thank you so much.
Go grab it right now.
Can you go get it right now? It's early Christmas.
Grab it right now.
Do you want me to go open it? You want me to open
Let's
it?
do it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll open it up. I'll open it.
5 minutes to get up there. Get up there.
Okay. It'll take 2 seconds to get up there. I'll be right back. I want to show you guys something else I think we should do for next week's episode. I think we should bring, or maybe following week, for people that are having a hard time getting to know who they are. I think having somebody like Noelle come in and her name's Rosie Noelle. She'll come in and talk about Clifton's strengths and break down your personality type. Like,
do you guys, let me ask you this, because next Monday is Christmas. The following Monday is New Year's.
I think.
So we're talking.
We come back in 2 weeks. Yeah, let's come back in 2 weeks.
The 8th. Can we do this on the 8th?
Yeah, we can do it. Hold on, I'm gonna go get this present and open up live.
Rolex.
Go get that roly doly, bro. And by
the way, it better be a Rolex because I'm like assuming it is.
Well, yeah, he put that Invicta. He put that Invicta in the Rolex box. Yeah, we're get
the Invicta. Go get your Invicta, bro. I love it.
What was funny, right, is that people have been kind of tuning into what's been going on in my world, and I had that little meltdown the other few weeks, and I tried to make myself feel a little bit better. So I went to a jeweler in downtown LA. My friend, he's a record producer, so he's rich. Yeah, and he's like, bro, let's go get you a presidential.
I see it.
Right, and so I was just like, I went to the jeweler, and I'm just like, what are we talking? Yeah, like, what does this look like? And I literally I had no idea that watches could be this expensive.
How much is it? How much is a presidential?
It's they start at $40,000.
Okay, well, sure.
Right? They start at 40,000
That's
and
if
they
you
go
get, you
they
know,
go
the
yeah, they
lucky
go
ticket.
they go all the way up from there. But it was an interesting thing, right? Because I
You're talking
remember
about the one that's on your arm right now?
yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So
Just so that everybody can see. Do you
so
mind holding up your watch?
no,
band?
it's fine. Anyhow,
You're telling the story. at
okay,
least
great.
there.
Yeah, there you go. Gold, solid gold, 18 karat gold, presidential, beautiful. It's fun, feels great to wear. But it's an interesting and let me tell you why I thought a watch was important because Pace used to wear a G-Shock for years, right? And I always had the fancy watch, and then all of a sudden Pace buys this Patek Philippe, right? And it was like crazy. And I remember I was in a room with Pace, and this really influential guy that both of us know came and talked to us, and well, he came up to the two of us, and he was like, he's talking to me, he's talking to Pace. He started at Pace. He was like, yeah, la, la, la. He's like, yeah, la, la, la. And then he was like, oh, Pace, bro, look at that watch, man. He's like, I got one just like that at home. That thing is incredible, man. What do you think? It was like, Pace has a like $80,000 watch, right? Yeah. Sorry, Pace, I'm not trying to out you. It's just reality. So he's the guy's like, bro, that is like the coolest watch. I love it so much. And like, congratulations, like that's big time. And then he looked at me and he was like, all right, guys, I'll see you later. And he walked out of that conversation. And I looked at Pace and I was like, what? But my watch was like $30,000. Yeah. Like, what? Why?
The funny thing is I actually prefer my G-Shock.
He was like, bye.
Bye.
And I couldn't. It was terrible, but yeah, open that B up right now, bro. Yeah, look at it. He's like, we're doing an unboxing right now on Wholesale Hotline Live.
Okay, so let me break this down. So
Rolex, I think it's gonna be
it's heavy.
Chronograph for sure.
No, you want to know what I think?
I don't know it's a Rolex.
I think a Panda is impossible. I don't think it's a Panda. A Panda is a very expensive Rolex. It's very difficult to get. What I think Pace has in that box.
I need to know who it's from.
Is a Sky Dweller. I'm guessing right now. It's a Sky Dweller. I believe it's going to have a rubber band, and I believe that it's going to be in that like $40,000 range. Okay, I'm calling it gold Sky Dweller. Pace's Pace's got the blue face and rubber band. Let's see.
All right, I'm good to open it.
It could be a.
Man, this poor dude who gave him like we just set this guy up for the worst disappointment. If it's not that right now, he's gonna be like, "Merry Christmas, Pace. Happy Wholesale Hotline 200." Yeah,
Oyster.
Okay.
All right.
It's a Submariner.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said it. I'm just repeating what you said, dog.
There's the box. There it is. What do we got?
Oh my word!
Oh, you're right. Sky Dweller.
Was it a
Sky Dweller? Oh my word!
I have that exact watch.
Are you joking me?
Yeah! Come on, baby!
Wow! Look at this.
Damn, I'm good, bro.
I have that exact. That is. That's
a
$40,000
watch.
That's the Jubilee bracelet.
Band. Yeah, Jubilee band, bro. That is one frick of a watch.
I've got that watch.
Wow.
I've got that exact. You and me, Pace, we're going to wear it together. We're going to be Sky Dwellers together.
You know, I've never owned a Rolex, and the fact that I got it from this person means the world to me. And Jamil introduced this man to me a long time ago. Actually, when I was a contractor, the way I met this gentleman is being a contractor. I would go to his wholesale
I'm still trying
jobs.
to figure out who he's talking about right now because I want to text that guy and be like, yo, I introduced you to Pace, right?
So this person...
I mean, I don't want the Sky Dweller, but could you not send me like a Submariner or like a Sea Dweller or like one of them like really budget watches that could have been just a thing?
I used to go on his job sites, okay? So he would call me. He's a wholesaler. And he would call me because Jamil introduced him to me. And at the time I was a contractor. This was about 7-8 years ago. And I would go on his job sites as a contractor to do estimates for his buyers.
That's a nice
Okay.
gift.
So he would call me up and he'd say, hey, I have a deal I got to sell, but my buyer won't buy it without a contractor's estimate. Will you go and do this for me? So I probably did like 40 or 50 estimates for this guy. And I never I didn't know
Okay,
much about it.
I've got like that's narrowed it down to
He's like a flipper in town.
that's narrowed it down to like 15 people. Keep
Okay.
going,
So
please.
this guy ended up becoming the largest wholesaler in the United States.
Bro, I didn't send you that watch.
He's your business partner.
Oh.
He's your business partner, and he's my business partner in the Subto fund. We just bought our first 160 unit multifamily deal, and this is the congratulations he gave me.
Wow, dog.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. So Jamil, again, everything
You're
comes down
welcome.
to relationships. And I can tell you the reason why these watches mean the world to me is because although I'm not the biggest watch guy, I think they last for forever, like these really great
Of course they do.
relationships.
Yep.
And, Brent has this exact watch, but he's not wearing it every day.
Yep.
I wear my G-Shock every day. The watch is not the important thing. It's the relationship it came from. And this is such a strong occasion. This is insane.
Yo, let me hold that for a second.
Jamil, thank you, brother. I love you.
Bro, at the end of the day, Pace, I have to say
Wow.
this, right? Because like we're gonna be missing Christmas, we're gonna be missing New Year. And so we've gone a little over time here, but I do need to say this. From the bottom of my heart, I mean it, guys. There have never been two human beings that are more important to me in my life. Brent, you are the reason why I'm not an owl on Instagram anymore. The reason why I actually went on a podcast and I started talking about what I was doing, and you really broke me out of my shell and told me the importance of what it meant to like share and be authentic and do the things that were necessary to help and impact people's lives.
Yeah.
Pace, without you, dog, none of my life exists right now, bro. None of it. And I mean it. I mean it, dude. It's so real. It's so true, dude. I can't imagine what my life would be without you two. And look, at the end of the day, my friendship with both of you guys has meant everything to me. And if I got hit by a truck tomorrow, I want both of you guys to know I love you. I love you, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the years of friendship. Thank you so much for changing my life. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be around you. I'm honored. I'm honored, bro. Thank you.
I love you. I love you guys. So proud of my relationship with you guys. It's, somebody asked actually in the comments a little bit ago, they said, hey, Pace, besides consistency and working hard, what's another thing I should be focusing on every single day? Guys, my consistency and working hard comes from the osmosis of other hardworking and consistent human beings. My friends, Brent Daniels and Jamil Damji, are a large part of why I'm consistent and I'm on the path that I'm on. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. 100% of what you should be spending your time on is squatting up with other people, collaborating, going to dinner with each other, spending time with each other's wives, going to Christmas parties with each other, doing everything you possibly can to get to replace the old people from your life and get new ones. And my life changed tremendously when I met both of you guys. I love you so much. And please, everybody, text Joe. If you guys know Josiah Grimes, who's my business partner on Instagram, does anybody know his Instagram? Let's DM him.
He's not even on it.
He doesn't have Instagram.
Okay, doesn't matter. I love you guys.
That's what happens when you're rich, not famous.
That's true. That's true. He lets me be the dude out there, and he gets to run the shop behind the scenes. It's great.
Yes, sir.
And he didn't. What's funny is we launched this 160 unit multifamily deal, seller finance in the Subto fund, and all the investors are there. We're all there. It's my first fund I've ever done. I've never raised money for a big deal, right? We always we'll borrow money temporarily from private money lenders and then pay them back. And then I'm the only user and the only owner of that property. The sad thing is you're not taking people along with you for the ride, right? And I go to this thing and Josiah is not at the party. We throw this big party. It's on November 17th. A couple hundred people come out. The community comes out. The mayor of Tucson comes out. And I'm like, Josiah, are you on your way? And he's like, that's not my job, man. You take all the shine. I'm just going to be the guy at the desk, just doing all the things and operating. So Jamil, thank you so much for the relationships you brought to me, man. You've changed my life forever.
I love you back.
Forever. I think, listen, being a part of this show, seeing you guys on a weekly basis with all of our schedules going all over the place.
This is 4 years. Is this 4 years? Is that what that means?
With as
200
much
episodes?
travel and babies being born and houses being bought and rental properties being bought and brands being built and coaching going on and everything, we find time every Monday to spend 90 minutes together, and you can't trade that. I couldn't trade it for anything in the world. Not even another beautiful sky dweller with a Jubilee bezel. I mean, Jubilee band. Yeah, bracelet. No, I love you guys. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And you know, from the time, and it sounds kind of crazy because he's cranky now, but I remember watching Robert Kiyosaki back in 2004, and I said, I want to do that. I want to have impact like that. I want to be able to really go do something special and then teach as many people on it, because that's the only thing that lasts.
Yeah.
The echoes of what you, the echoes of the impact. Perfect. It is the only thing that lasts. The watches don't last. The houses don't last. Anything, but pulling somebody that has maybe gone through a bad situation in life, or they got drawn a really bad hand early on and they're in bad situations, or their family doesn't have a lot of resources, for them to go out there and get a deal and get 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and start changing the whole mindset of that family and the trajectory of that family. That's what lasts. That's what we do. And that's what we've done, try to do for 200 episodes. And it's been an absolute honor. I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys. We will not see you on Christmas Day. We will see you the following week. Enjoy your Christmas. Between now and then, we will have a new addition to the Morby family.
Woo!
And we'll let you guys, I think I have to name him Josiah now, sadly.
You would not. Are you gonna name him Josiah, not Jamil, bro?
Jamil,
I mean, I know it sounds super weird to have a baby named Jamil in a White House, but like, why not? Was that wrong?
I think he's gonna go Josiah, bro. He laughed,
guys,
really
we will see you on January 8th. We're skipping 2 weeks.
He's probably already told him that's why he sent him the watch.
Are we sending
2 weeks? 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
guys.
We'll see you on the 8th.
Wholesale Hotline number 200. We're out.
Love
We're
you.
out.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.